Hello, everybody. Here. Hello, hello. While I'm waiting on a few folks to hop on here, I'm going to shuffle a couple of decks of cards that I have set out for this evening. Hope you all have had a good week. I went to New Orleans and did a live broadcast from New Orleans last week, and today I am back at home. And it was incredibly nice and warm and like crazy nice and warm. Last night, even kind of late, and then we got a big rain and windstorm that came in, and now it's freezing. Yes, hey there. Thank you so much, Robert. It's always good to be home, but it was wonderful to it was so wonderful to be in New Orleans. I absolutely love it there. I have had a hard time acclimating. I wasn't really gone that long, but I have had a hard time knowing what day it is, what time it is. My sleep schedule's been off. But it is what it is. So, all right. It looks like we've got a couple of people that are watching now. So I want to go ahead and dive into this week's energy update. And for those of you who don't know, my name is Malia, and Innerperfect is my baby brainchild that I started the concept back in 2010, and Innerperfect moved into the forefront as far as the name, brand, all of that, officially a couple of years ago when I kind of relaunched my offerings. So, yeah, Malia, Innerperfect. So I'm going to continue to shuffle some of these cards here just real quick. Hopefully it's not too loud. But we are going to talk about a couple of things, energy update wise, and then we will get to the readings very soon. So as you know, the sun is in Pisces right now. And Pisces is like the dreamer, the imaginative sign. Pisces and Neptune really vibe with each other very well. And my youngest is a Pisces. He will be celebrating his birthday here in just over a week. We've been counting down for about 6 months. But with the sun being in Pisces, we have some kind of cool astrological things that are happening today, right now. And those would be Saturn and Mercury being Cazimi, with the sun being in Pisces. And a Cazimi is basically like where a planet is within 1 degree of the sun. And so it is a very impactful energy. A Cazimi is considered to be, like an amplifying energy when you kind of get the alchemy of the planet or planets Cazimi with the sun's energy. And Saturn is, of course, can be kind of a more rigid energy, but it's very much about kind of structure and guidelines as well. And since the sun is in Pisces and it's such a flowy, dreamy energy, with Saturn being Cazimi, the sun right now, we're really being called to, with the Saturn energy, like what we are devoted or committed to, pertaining to like our dreams, pertaining to our imagination. So how are you committed to your dreams? And this could be your goals, this could be things that you are working towards, which is, also a Saturn energy. But when we really think about being devoted or committed to our dreams, for example, it's almost like a relaxing in and a merging with. It is not a forcing, it is not a pushing energy. It's not demanding, it is just aligning. And so leading up to today and then even flowing into tomorrow, the next day, of course, the Cazimi energy is exact today, so it's maybe being felt most intensely. But you maybe have been having more active dream life. Um, you might be really trying to get back into alignment with what your dreams are, your life dreams, your goal. It could be your daydreams that you're wanting to cement more into your reality. I know that my dreams have been fairly active lately, and last night they were very active. And the part that still stands out to me the most is I was I was dreaming about goats, and I was at this house, and there was this fence and a gate, and there were goats in like a neighboring field, but the barbed wire was like really sloppy, and I was like, "Oh, they could escape," and they did, and they escaped, and there were mamas and daddies, and there were babies. There were many goats, and they came over to visit me, and then they came in through like the open door or gate that I was at, and then it was like, oh no, I need to get them back. I need to get them back to where they're supposed to be. And it was kind of this like comedy of errors, like with this whole thing. But it wasn't stressful. It was fun. And I would just remember feeling so blessed that I had that experience with not even just one goat, but several. And they were very fun, and their personalities were sneaky and smart and sweet, and it was really nice. So and that has just kind of been crossing my mind throughout the day, having dreamt that. um, and the other planet that is Cazimi, the sun, is Mercury. And Mercury is, of course, a planet of communication, of how we express ourselves, our, communication. Of course, can be over all forms of technology, getting from point A to point B. But it is so much our consciousness, and so much our wisdom, our it can be our higher minded wisdom, but it's just also just kind of like what we know and then what we express. And so with Mercury also being within 1 degree of the sun in Pisces, then we are being called to really clarify and perhaps realign our beliefs. Think about our mental thought patterns. And, when we think of thought patterns, I always kind of view within and think of all of those neural pathways in my brain, and they're just like, like little roads or little streams, and they're all networked and connected to each other. And that if you um with your like internal monologue, or your your thoughts, that sometimes you can just be kind of like going about your day, maybe doing some mindless task, or even doing something that you're supposed to be paying attention to, but you're distracted, right? But you might have a thought, you might hear a word, you might smell a smell. There might be something that kind of clicks that little part, in your brain, where that memory, or that thing that would be connected to what has just kind of come across your radar, where that's anchored in your brain. And then you might start almost going down like memory lane, right? Or that thought may lead to another thought, may lead to another thought in this pattern like way. As to where pretty much you're like, oh yeah, if I start thinking about that thing, and then I'm going to end up here, right through those connected thoughts. And of course, if we have those connected thoughts that are positive, or that are building us up, that are enhancing our lives, it's not bad, to take a trip down memory lane, or to kind of reinforce a positive mental pattern or a thought pattern. But if you find yourself kind of in a downward spiral, and you find yourself, getting upset or being brought down through that chain of events of those thoughts, then it might be time to kind of reconsider your thought patterns and think about kind of rewiring your brain, getting to where you're not just sucked into a negative thought pattern, to where you say, I've identified this, I'm thinking this. And when we kind of sit with that one thing, that may start the healing process. I know there was one video I did where I talked about this kind of in depth. But like having a mantra or a statement or something, it could be a prayer or a blessing, but it could be even like a word that when you identify that negative thought and know that it's going to be is a deeply ingrained pattern, right? Rut in your head. You can say, okay, I acknowledge that. I see that, but I want to reroute. I want to take a different pathway, use a different neural pathway in my brain. And it takes a little bit of training, but you can replace that negative thought saying, well, instead of going along the typical route that I go and end up finding myself in a place that maybe I don't want to be mentally or emotionally, and then, of course, it can affect you physically as well. But to kind of say, stop, and then I'm going to focus on this instead. It could be a mantra like, I am safe. It could be, I embody peace. It could be, well, instead of thinking of these, negative things that are going to make me just feel like I'm worthless and I don't have anything going for me, or I haven't accomplished what I have thought that I would have accomplished so far in my life or whatever it is, maybe we put, an intention, a manifestation mantra, something like that in. And it may feel really awkward at first. It may feel like, you're forcing it. And you kind of are, right? But you're doing it on purpose because you're retraining your brain. And it takes, about a month, they say, to break a habit. It takes about that long to establish a new healthy habit as well. And same thing goes with our thoughts and our brain. And we can become truly addicted to negative thoughts and um, the adrenaline rush and the feelings that it brings about in our mind and our body. And just because it's something that are used to, or it's an energy that seems like our normal, if it's not building you up, if it's not giving you a sense of peace, if it's not supporting you on your journey, if it's holding you back, or if it's holding you down, then you don't have to just let your brain go haywire. A lot of people um, identify with like who they are as their brain. They think that's their consciousness or their awareness, and the brain is a tool. The brain is a computing, calculating, sorting tool. And it helps us navigate through our world. It helps us keep things organized and all the information and data that we take in, storing memories so that we know if something else comes up like that, we tap into that experience. And it's like, okay, so the numbers say, this is what I should do in this situation. But so many people get trapped in the busyness of their mind and think that's who they are, and they think that their brain is in control. um the brain is really good at being in control of making sure that you're breathing, your heart is beating, all the electrical impulses in your body are working. That's really what the brain should just, like, we should trust it to do that, right? But as far as our thoughts, because our thoughts then sink into our emotions, and then that goes into our emotional body, and then that goes into our energetic body, and then our physical body is holding all this stuff in, and it can have a very disrupting effect if we are feeling negative emotions, if we are thinking negative thoughts. And I know that that's why, that is the kind of basis of why we are encouraged to spread positivity and to be happy and to share joy, to embody peace, all of these things. And I think that sometimes those feelings, those concepts, I mean, they've kind of been overused in a way. Unfortunately, I guess, or maybe people are just kind of going through the motions and saying them. And it's you have to really embody those things. You have to really let yourself experience those things to get the benefit of it. Yes, go through the motions. If that's the mantra that you need to kind of rewire your brain, that's fine. But the point is to actually experience those things. And this is not a everything has to be love and light speech either. This is a we have um, just the effects of gravity and oxidation within our environment and within our body is stressful enough, right? We are aging. We are one step closer to death every breath, right? And I mean, I'm not saying that like callously or anything, but it's like we have a lot of stress just being alive, just surviving, right? And so when we try to embody more of that love, of that peace, of that joy, it's not saying that's the only thing that you're supposed to focus on, or that's, if you're feeling anything other than those things, it's wrong, it's bad, but it's saying that it is counteracting the negativity, the pressure, the dense energy, right? To be in that more expanded energy, because truly what we want is harmony. We want a state of balance, homeostasis, whatever you want to call it. And so we're really always seeking that balance, and it's a very delicate balance, but that's why we try to bring in more peace and love, because we've got a lot of other things that are even just part of the natural environment, let alone all the other things that could be negative, interacting with other humans, or problems across the globe, whatever it is. So I'm definitely not a person that is just love and light, love and light. Like, I am not. um uh I do not recommend shying away from shadow, shying away from the depths. We do want to find that state of balance. But if you're finding that the pendulum has swung, right, in the deep, dark crevices, we want to try to counteract that and kind of bring ourselves back into a state of balance. So, looking again, circling back around to the Cazimi of Saturn and also Mercury, these energies being so kind of intensely amplified, with the sun in Pisces, we are really being called to find realignment. And it is a quality alignment. It is almost like where we spend our time, money, efforts, all of that. What is quality? Quantity is not the same as quality. And it is also making sure that your thoughts, your mental, internal monologue, what you're saying, what you're speaking, that's Mercury too. If you find yourself saying like, "Oh, I hate this," or, "I'm so stupid," or whatever, yeah, they're words, but they do have an energy to them, right? They do have an impact, subconsciously, but that does affect us, mind, body, and spirit. So, letting yourself maybe take a little bit of an inventory, and see areas that you might want to kind of shift, change, improve, things that you might just want to completely let go of, and stuff that you want to bring more of. You want to bring more of those things that are going to give you that effervescent, expansive energy, what you want to bring in to your life. Also, you may be finding yourself doing like some kind of detailed cleaning in your physical world as well. Whether this is just kind of like straightening up your house or kind of decluttering a little bit. I've definitely been on I wouldn't say a cleaning blitz, but I've just kind of naturally gravitated towards just trying to clean and clear things on the physical level. And it's all connected. The physical, and the energetic, the physical, the ethereal are all connected. And we know if our space is cluttered, or if our mind is cluttered, then that shows up in so many ways in our body and other things that kind of bump up against our reality. And so when we do set the time aside to kind of clear, do a little bit of that inventory and make space for and make room for what you want to usher in, what you want to allow to flow in, then things flow much more smoothly, right? It's like there's less friction, there's less stuff just kind of bumping up against each other that kind of get in the way, right? So, anyway, nice little kind of auspicious alignment for us today. And like I said, kind of leading up to today and still flowing into tomorrow and the next day as well. Also, tomorrow is leap day. 2024 is a leap year, which I know you all probably all know what a leap year is, right? Or what leap day is. It's February 29th. It's an extra day. Some people call it like a day out of time. But it's it makes up for the crappy calculations with the Gregorian calendar. Is the non-mystical, magical way of looking at it. And um, something's just kind of coming to mind. I don't want to go on like a total tangent with it, but time, is this concept, this human concept that we have, right? We just want to measure things. We want to put things in their place. We want to know when to anticipate something else coming into our life or coming back around, whatever it is. And it is it is just a total mind fuck when I think about the calendar, and I'm even saying like, today, which is February 28th, and tomorrow is February 29th, leap day. And, I really would like a like the original calendar or like the closest to possible calculating things calendar, because there were different meetings and higher ups in the church or government, all got together and they're like, okay, well, we kind of need to structure things this way. And, these are when these typical celebrations or holidays happen. So we'll kind of, rename the months and we'll configure all this. And we'll make most of the months 30 days, some 31. And then, oh, wait, because how time, actually moves with Earth and, the Earth going around the sun, it takes about this long and, all of that. Right. And because there have been a couple of like audits and edits to calendars over hundreds and thousands of years, um, they've had to kind of go, oh, so things have kind of gotten out of whack a little bit, so we kind of need to take this out, and then we're just gonna make it happen here, and then yeah, it'll be back on track. But it's on track on paper ish, but it's what day is it really? Like what month is it really? And then when we talk about astrology and I talk about like Vedic astrology versus like tropical astrology and how the stars movements and the constellations and calculations and all of those things, you see that there's a bit of a difference, right, in those two different systems. And so I think all of that, even though like part of me really, really wants to know, like, well, really, truly, what is the exact time, date, whatever, um, that it also kind of then reminds me on the flip side of time is relevant. Time isn't really real when you zoom out into the everything and nothingness of all that is. Um, but we like to pretend that time and dates and all of that are important and that they're real. And it's just, I guess, in different systems, those things we have to find some kind of common ground, right? And I guess really that's what we're looking for is common ground. But even like with daylight savings time, we'll be springing ahead. I think in March, I think. And then we fall back, in the fall. But not even all states within our country do that. Daylight savings time is kind of like was based on more time to grow your food. It was kind of based on agriculture and also yeah, I'll say that. I'm not going to go on a tangent on that. I could apparently. But it's funny to me that even like daylight savings time is just a way to kind of make things work within society. And it's not real. It's not like time just disappears and goes backward, one time a year and then it just like speeds ahead, but our clocks and our computers and all of that are just miraculously, hey, now is this time, right? It's pretty amazing to me. So anyway, time isn't real, but tomorrow is leap day. So there it is. So leap day, one of the older traditions, which is kind of funny, like kind of looking into it and like looking at our society now, especially like Western society, right? But I think it was the 5th century, I think is what I read, that in Ireland, basically in the 5th century, there's kind of a mythology about St. Patrick and his counterpart, but basically striking up a deal saying uh, there should be at least one day every so often, and apparently St. Patrick proposed every 7 years. But I think this was St. Beatrice, I'm pretty sure, is who the female is in this mythological story. She convinced him to agree to every 4 years, and this is the thing. Every 7 years, no, it's every 4 years that a woman can ask a man to marry her. A woman can propose to a man. And it's kind of funny, it was said that, her reasoning was that men move very slowly sometimes. And I guess we got a biological clock ticking, right? Um, and she was like, there should be at least some time, every few years where a woman can actually just like, let's get this stuff going here, sir. And so it actually kind of really was practiced a lot in Ireland. It bled over into Scotland, into the UK, as kind of just being like free pass. Like, a woman could be a little more forward or quite a lot bit more forward and propose or also ask a man to dance instead of being in that role of having to wait on the man to make a move, right? So, looking at our modern society and how, um, gosh, like gender roles and, what's acceptable and partner in commitment marriage or asking somebody to dance, that we are obviously not stuck in the expectation of a male or a man being the only one allowed to initiate those kinds of things. But I think it's kind of funny because I think it was back in the 1800s that there were even, as this tradition was kind of adopted by certain, like, countries' governments and things like that, um, that it was actually, um, adopted that if a woman, for example, asked a man to dance with her or marry her, on different accounts that I've read, and he refused, that a fine could be imposed. A fine, um, which I think is kind of weird. But apparently the fine could be a kiss. It could be, there were some things that kind of came into popularity, like a silk gown, or later even like a fur coat, were kind of like a payment if a female's advances were refused. So I find that very interesting and kind of funny, as far as leap day goes. Um, but anyway, there's a little bit of a um, convoluted, garbled rendition of the history of leap day, as far as more of our modern society, when we started organizing as humans and making up things like calendars and social norms. So, yeah. All right. What else? Oh, yes. I was like, I said I was going to talk about things, and there was another thing I wanted to talk about. Um, Let me actually, I'm going to do this because I'm recording this on my laptop. And I can pull this up. Okay. So, as you all know, I've talked about the Schumann resonance quite a bit. The Schumann resonance is the heartbeat of the earth. And there's a cool app which is just called Schumann resonance. I think is what it's called. It's like one time to download the app and to have full access is like $2.99 or something. It's not very expensive at all. And it will show you graphs of the Schumann resonance and when there are peaks or spikes in the amplitude or the frequency of the Schumann resonance. And there's lots of talk about why there would be peaks in the Schumann resonance. You know, if we're kind of this like electromagnetic, like enclosed almost like unit, you know, within the earth, like, you know, the earth does its thing to kind of keep in balance, but that's like how we have earthquakes and volcanoes, and like, you know, we've got lightning, and all of that is all within our electromagnetic field as well. And so those are kind of like blowing off steam when the electromagnetic energy is starting to kind of raise up, because we as humans and the animals and trees and everything, we operate at a most optimal state when our electromagnetic field is in alignment or in entrainment with the heartbeat or the electromagnetic field of the earth as well. Anyway, but as far as like why there would be spikes or peaks or in the Schumann resonance, some people say that it's like due to solar flares, that can affect it. So, you know, big waves of energy coming from solar storms and the sun emitting those energies. It can also be due to, if you are of the ilk of, you know, kind of following this stuff, planetary evolution, vibrationally speaking, you know, moving out of 3D, moving into 4D, 5D, ascending, right? So the vibration of the planet and all of its inhabitants rising up, and that is going to raise the vibration and the frequency of the planet, right? And as we are ascending ourselves, and then we're like, our energy is in training with the energy of the planet, and then that is our new normal. We raise our vibration, and we're in alignment with that, and so it's kind of like we're all ascending, right? So as earth kind of hurtles through its forward spiral through space, there are different energetic influences. There are gateways, there are portals, there are, you know, other um, galaxies, solar systems, there are other planets, all the things that we're kind of like, we move through these different energies in the universe, and that can affect the Schumann resonance as well. And then some people say that like weather modification and HARP, you know, all that kind of stuff, the particle collider, some people have said that either the Schumann resonance is being manipulated to have these spikes or this difference in frequency, or that just because of those things that are being done, that it is affecting the Schumann resonance. So anyway, there are lots of possibilities, and it's probably a combination of all of those things, to be honest. But as I like to check the Schumann resonance, we got blasted, like blasted, so much. It was kind of mid-month, and it's been pretty chill the last several days. And pretty chill looks like this. It's just like the blue with a little bit of green and all of that. And when the frequency is increasing, then we get yellow, then we get orange, then we get red. Okay, it's kind of like a heat map, is kind of how it maps it out. And this is all like a timeline. So we have um, it's really cool, and you can see pictures of this online, but, like, on the app, you have, like, numbers, and those are hours, and then up and down, this is going to measure the frequency, and the amplitude. So, anyway, so today, like I said, it's just, looked pretty chill, just the look blues and greens, no, really major spikes at all. And then today, which it looks like we had a teeny tiny bit of one last night too. But today we had, oh my God, this, and you see that black thing that's like missing. Okay. That's called a blackout period. And a lot of times we get a, um, when we get a really big strong blast or like a solar flare or something, that'll show up on the graph, and then we'll get like a blackout. It's almost like it's too much for the system to measure, or it affected the system and all the measuring equipment or something. But this is not showing that we received any kind of major spikes. Okay, but then there was this blackout period. Let me see if I can zoom in here. 24, about, let's just say about 12 hours ago. Okay, so early this morning, our time. And that lasted for about 12 hours, right? 22. Yeah, more than that. About 20 hours. And then before that, there was just a tiny little blackout period before. So that is all to show you what the Schumann resonance is doing right now. Um, Oh, great. Someone said, "Be reading naked" on the comments. Okay, let's see. What can I do with this? I'm gonna report you. Okay, sorry. I just reported that user. God. Great. So that's the bonus of going live and just being live to whoever wants to watch, which, most people are totally cool. Apparently, Clara Murphy here is offering fee reading naked. I'm keeping my clothes on for this reading coming up, so sorry. We're not sorry. Okay, so anyway, so the blackouts to me on the Schumann resonance and kind of basically experiencing that overnight um, can almost be like a calm before the storm too, and it can be like an integration period where we've received certain upgrades, downloads, whatever you want to call them, and then it gives our body almost like a chance to integrate those changes as then we step into the new energies that we received. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, I know Julie's like, bye, Clara. See you, Clara. um, Clara was our spammer. I'm sure that was her real name too. Anyway, but with the Schumann resonance and with spikes, with different frequencies that come through, some people, my hair's sticking up weird, sorry. Some people do notice that you might be really tired, that you might have aches and pains, that you might have like certain like inflammation like in your joints. Some people have trouble sleeping. There are different ways that it affects us as human animals, but a lot of times it's because these frequencies, these energies that are coming in are, you know, really helping detox our energy field and detox our body down to like the DNA level. And so it if you've ever done a detox and you've like started either eating really well, or you're just doing like, juice smoothies, or you're taking vitamins or supplements that help detox, you're still drinking a lot of water, but a lot of people will get like what they feel like, oh, there's something wrong. I feel awful, or I have a headache, or whatever it is. But no, it's just like all the toxins that were basically in your body and your organs and your fat and your cells, and you clear those out. You bring them up to the surface, and then hopefully they leave because you're detoxing. we realize during those moments or those yeah, that day or whatever that part of the detox that it's like, whoa, I have been bogged down with all of this stuff, pollutants and heavy metals and other toxins and things like that. And that's just been there, kind of stuck in your body, right? So when it kind of rises up to the surface, it feels awful, but then we get rid of it. So energetically speaking, talking about the Schumann resonance and those kind of negative, health things that we might experience, mood shifts as well, right? That is bringing up what needs to be released so that we can step into that higher vibration. Okay. And Wind Whisper, thank you so much. I appreciate you and very happy to do what I do. I feel very lucky too, but thank you for being a part of it. Okay. So Schumann resonance and then the blackout. This is the other thing that's connected are timeline shifts. And I talked about this a bit when I did our full moon circle on the 24th at the community space. And even had someone come up and talk to me afterwards, kind of about her timeline shift experience. But timeline shifts, if you think about, timelines and that, you're where your perspective is, where your reality is supposedly existing as a line through time, right? This is your trajectory. And there have been kind of major planetary timeline shifts. If you've ever looked into the Mandela effect, it's pretty fascinating. It's basically some people remember things, that happened in the past from history as one way. It could be, it's called the Mandela effect because it has to do with Nelson Mandela about him basically like dying or being alive, basically. But people will remember like the spelling of certain words. Berenstein Bears is like one. You can look into this. Like people get obsessed. It's kind of like a fun rabbit hole to go down. But there might even be like certain jingles or phrases in popular culture. How words to songs or all kinds of things. But there's like some people are like, no, I 100% remember it being this way, and then now the googly is saying it is this way, or whatever. Some people say no, it's always been this way, and people then to kind of not only dig into it and try to find these discrepancies might find like an old logo lunchbox or some packaging or something that is like, no, look, this is what we're being told this thing is and has always been, but then there's actually maybe some proof of no, it some and in some other reality it used to be this thing. It's pretty mind-blowing. So anyway, that is kind of one example of a timeline shift, but then that's kind of like some big shifts. Okay. Some people do, sorry, I'm getting like kind of conspiracy theory tonight, which is great. But people do also say things about the particle collider that's in Europe that also has an effect on because it's like splitting atoms, I guess, or colliding particles together and all of this. But that's possibly affecting the fabric of our reality and of our timelines too. And so a timeline shift can be major or big or have like a really, really big implications, or it can be just like if you imagine your reality and lines. I'm trying like how is my camera going? There could be ones that are kind of really far apart, where it's like a leap, or they're so close together that it's almost just kind of just like merging over onto that other timeline. And we can move back and forth too if the timelines, the energy is kind of like congruent or similar, kind of ebbing back and forth in between the two. So I myself personally have been feeling that I have been going through some shifts, some timeline shifts. And I know that other people are feeling that too. And my goal, my goal is, I mean, sometimes I guess it could be like an adventure, which path am I on today or in the season of my life? Um, but also it is for me, I'm wanting to raise my vibration. I'm wanting to clear away, you know, older energies that are, denser, that are holding me back, that are keeping me from my highest timeline, right? From my highest good. And so I am happy to kind of take those steps or those leaps or those jumps, as a shedding, of those energies that aren't serving me and my highest good, why I came here. Um, so anyway, if you all are experiencing timeline shifts or you're kind of like wondering, I think it's very highly possible. Sometimes people will notice, with shifting timelines or realities, like kind of like it's really the same thing. We're just using different words. That, maybe you're like, I laid this thing right here on the counter next to me, and then I turn around to go grab it, and it's not there. And then sometimes it's just gone forever. And we're like, where did it go? Or sometimes, an hour or two later, the next day, it's just like right there where we left it, but we didn't see it. Now, I understand that there are like psychological explanations for that. I can't remember what the term is. There's a term for it where it's basically like, it's almost like it's a mental blindness. Like we can't see that sector in our reality, but it's actually physically, tangibly there. We tend to experience that if we're kind of in a high stress situation. Like if you've ever lost your keys and like they're in your purse and you've looked a million times and they're like, oh, they're there. It's kind of like that. But anyway, I think that, yeah, sometimes we just aren't able to compute what is in our reality. But then also, I think that we are, maybe going back and forth between two completely different realities or more, too. So, see it as an adventure, as an upgrade, not something to be fearful of. Okay. So I'm gonna close the door to my studio here because Evan is gaming and he is just so involved in this that he's yelling because he has headphones on, and I'm gonna go ask him to be quiet. I'm gonna close my door and then I'm gonna start doing card reading. So I'll be right back. Put your questions in the comments if you have any, and I will address them in like 2 seconds. All right. All it took was a look. It was a look. Okay. All right. So I'm going to do some card pulls for everybody. An intuitive reading of sorts. For those of you who have experienced my readings before, if you've ever had a reading with me in person or over the phone, or talk to me or whatever, I think that we're all channels. We all have the potential possibility to channel, but I am an intuitive channel. And so when I use cards, they're a wonderful springboard, but they are not the gospel. They are just a tool. There are foundational, fundamental meanings of tarot cards, or if it's an oracle deck and somebody just has designed their own deck, and then they'll, have their own intentions and meanings with every card, and they have a guidebook and all of that. And that's great. And I'm not saying those things are wrong, but I'm just saying how I typically tend to use my cards are a springboard. There just might be certain images on a card, or an image on a card that really stands out to me during that moment in time, which, has some significance. And the information that I share is not like Malia's ancient wisdom of Malia land. It is universal knowledge. It could be tapping into my higher self and your higher self, which are kind of, higher vibrational versions of us, having a conversation. It could be, channeling and pulling through, downloading information for the entire collective of, all of us that are here right now. Or it could just be for one individual person if we're doing something like this, like a live. So, okay. So let's see. Julie says she hasn't had a reading yet, but definitely want to. Well, I do have reading slots available. Everything except for the week that I run the shop, which is going to be March 12th through 16th. But I do have availability this week, next week, and further. Looks like Wind Whisper has a question. She has a question for the cards. Okay. So I will, let me just pull a card for you really quick, Wind Whisper. And then we'll get into the collective message. I'm pulling one card for you. King of Swords. King of Swords. I feel like this card is telling you for your financial future that you have more impact or say or effect than you've either experienced leading up until this point or than you realize or will accept. So when you need to be decisive about what you want, and then things will align with that. So if you're feeling kind of like you've just been taking kind of whatever's been sent your way, or you have just had to make do, or you feel like you're kind of like you're okay, you're appreciative of where you're at, but it's just kind of like just getting by, that you quite possibly might not know what you want. And although, we think like, oh, it'd be so nice if this, or I just wish that this would happen or whatever, that's almost still wording things as if like the things just are as they are. They are ambivalent, or they're so or stressful or whatever it is, right? And so when we're speaking, when we're thinking, when we're meditating, if you do any kind of energy work or magic or anything like that too, that's why we want to be very, very clear and very concise and very deliberate with our intention, with our wording, with our feelings. We embody that entire feeling, and then we let it move out into our energy field. And then that's what we attract, right? That's the law of attraction. So it's not saying, I wish that I had a new car. It's saying, I'm so grateful for owning the perfect vehicle, and letting ourselves feel that, and embody that energy, and not have that gap in our energy of it's a wish, it hasn't happened now, I'm really stressed out, I'm really unhappy with what I have, and then there's this thing that I'm yearning for. We have to get rid of the yearning. We have to embody that. They say that to act as if that you already have it, but it's just kind of like wording your things in the present moment as well, willing it into your present moment. So I feel that with a king, I feel like this is just really like having very very sure decision making and taking action on what you truly want. And so your financial future can look like however you want it to look like. You just have to decide what you want that to be. And you can do that at any time, but right now you're being called to step into taking action on what you want, if that makes sense. And then to answer your question, are my reading openings posted on my website? Yes, they are. If you go to innerperfect.com and you click on the book button, that takes you to another page, which is the booking page. You'll see all the reading offerings, like the different times that I have. Those are for readings or intuitive work, Akashic Records work, past life regression, energy healing, Reiki. You can just book me for 30 minutes to 2 hours. I was going to say 2 minutes, 2 hours. So there's different time selections there. I also do readings over the phone or over Zoom or FaceTime or whatever as well. So if it just doesn't work with your schedule to be able to come to the community space, if you're not local to Knoxville, you can always book a session with me and just kind of put in the notes that you want a virtual session. So yeah, that's all on the website is innerperfect.com, and you just click on the book tab. All right. So let us now pull a few cards for. Okay, so Angela Newberry, yes. So she was going to ask about a future potential for a healthy personal relationship, but this completely applied to my question. Well, and that's what I think is really cool, that I feel like when we're doing kind of like a group thing like this, and someone has a question, it's usually not just for them, right? I mean, we all have our own reasons. We all have our own reasons for being here together live tonight, right? Or if there's somebody watching this and it's a replay, it's from 3 months ago or whatever. There's a reason why your energy, my energy, and everybody else's energy who kind of aligns with this video are here. So yes, looking at the King of Swords, that can be applied to any situation. It could be your money, it could be your career, it could be your personal relationships, whatever. And so with one person asking a question about kind of a specific topic, those of you that have, wanted to be here at this time, there's obviously a reason you're here, which is really cool. So I'm glad that information was helpful for you as well, Angela. Okay. So, I want to, always trust whatever we need to hear, whatever we need to know. Those of us that are here, those of us who are watching, participating, or watching in the future, and this is a recorded video, not live. But I kind of wanted to focus on what nugget of information, what helpful insight, messages are waiting for us, specifically related to leap year or to leap day tomorrow. In a way, although, I was kind of going off earlier about time's not really real and calendars are dumb and all that. But, it is a structure in which we work with, right? And it's wow, it's a whole extra day, and then there's the whole idea of some people who are actually celebrate a special occasion, they get married on a leap day, or their child is born on a leap day. It doesn't actually come around on the calendar again for 4 years, right? Which is kind of cool. So it's kind of like a little time jump anyway, right? It's like a whole extra day that then we have to wait 4 more years to experience again. So I'd like to kind of pull some cards to see what information insight is going to be really helpful for us to take advantage of this leap day energy. Okay. Or, even just kind of surrounding over the next week or so. Okay. So I have 3 different decks here. I have a standard Rider-Waite deck. I have the holographic Rider-Waite, which is what I used for the card pull that I did just individually. And then I have the Spirit Song Tarot, which has animals on it. So, okay. This is traditional Rider-Waite. We have the Knight of Pentacles. We have the Page of Swords. And then we have the 9 of Swords, and it was reversed. So it looked like that when I pulled it. Let you look at it this way. No, I'm sorry, the 4 of Swords, not the 9 of Swords. Sorry, there's 4 swords on there, and that's a 4, IB. 4 of Swords, I apologize. So that was reversed. And then I want to pull some Spirit Song Tarot cards, and we will go through all of these, okay? And what insight do we need for this time, specifically around Leap Day? Okay, 10 of Feathers, which is 10 of Air. Oh my God. 5 of Crystals, reversed. Really getting that we're clearing away some stuff. Oh, and 2 of Shells. Love. 2 of Cups. Okay. And then I'm going to pull a couple holographic tarot, which these look exactly like the traditional Rider-Waite. So it'd be kind of cool if we got a duplicate, or something like that. That would be kind of neat. Or things that were kind of in succession, 4 of Swords, but then we got a 4 of Swords upright, or 5 of Swords, which 5s aren't really fantastic, but whatever. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, we got the Queen of Wands here. Ace of Pentacles. And we got the 5 of Wands. Okay. All right, here we go. So what I am looking at for us, for the collective is we we are we're being asked to step into our own power. I'm hearing that, okay, and don't get upset with me. This is not me. I'm just a channel. And I'm hearing the message too. What I'm hearing is that you are, there are certain exceptions. I'll just say there are certain exceptions, and you know that I don't mean like those situations. But you are not a victim of your own life. Okay. Let's just say victimhood could be due to someone else's actions, imposed on you, in which you were unable to act, react, have control of the situation, be protected or whatever. So those situations I'm not really talking about, okay? But in your life, on your life path and the choices that you make and the experiences that you have, um the things that you expose yourself to, all of that. You are not a victim of that. You are making choices. And sometimes the choice is being stuck. Sometimes the choice is that I don't know what to choose. I don't know how to choose, and so I'm just going to stay here. And but you're not a victim of that. You are choosing that, if that makes sense. And so I feel like you we need to, if you want more financial stability, if you want better health, if you want more a sense of more like safety and security and like foundation in your life, you have to choose that. You can't say, well, I just ate trash all week and my body hurts and like poor me. Yet you chose to put trash in your body all week. And I understand that food is freaking expensive right now. Like I went and got some groceries yesterday or the day before, and I was just like, there was like a sprouted bread that I got that I wanted to get, Ezekiel bread, which is really good. And I swear it was twice the price of what it was the last time I bought it, which was probably a couple years ago. Um, and so I got like the generic brand, but I still got some sprouted bread. And so I know that things are very expensive right now. And like I got the sprouted grain bread, I got uh fruits and veggies. I got all clean food because I'm trying to eat good and clean. Um, and it was like enough groceries that I could carry in one load on both hands, and it was like $160. So I understand that like it is less expensive to buy less quality food, or sometimes like I guess maybe going to Taco Bell or something, like, it's cheaper. Um in a way. But then how do you feel after you eat those things, right? Or are you doing things to kind of combat, not eating clean foods? And this is not like an elitist thing that like I'm saying or that's coming through. This is just saying that the more real food that you can eat, the more real food, like it's food, it's not been processed, it hasn't been genetically altered, it hasn't doesn't have all these fillers or dyes or all this kind of stuff in it. The more real food that you can eat, your real body will feel better because that's what you need. That's the fuel that you need. You don't need all these other chemicals and all this other stuff in your body, or you're going to feel like crap because that's just what you put in it, right? And so man, tangents tonight. So you choose what you put in your body. You choose what kind of people you surround yourself with, what kind of other things you consume, like social media, movies, music, all of that. And if you feel unwell, or if you're unhappy, or if you're stressed, or if you're not living your best life, then make some shifts and make some changes because you are empowered to do that. and I know that with like money stuff, with finances, like just because man, we're not in an upswing right now. I mean, the economy is nuts. There's inflation, there's all the things, right? And a lot of things kind of feel like they're up in the air. That we may feel completely immobilized by the situation, and we may feel that we are powerless, right? And that is a really scary place to be, is feeling like you are not in your power. And this is not like lording over people. This is just saying, I don't feel like I have the ability or the power to take care of myself, or to feel safe, or to feel healthy or well, or whatever it is, or happy. But there are so many simple things that you can do to integrate real food. It could be growing tomatoes in a like a container on your patio, right? And saying, well, I didn't buy organic, I didn't have to buy organic tomatoes, or I had grew so many tomatoes, and I could trade those tomatoes for some organically grown cucumbers and watermelon, for my neighbor, whatever it is. So there are ways to be creative. There are ways to really integrate what you want that don't really cost like extra money, or that don't it doesn't mean that you have to have an X amount of money or abundance or resources to be able to be a healthy, happy human. We're pretty resourceful. We're pretty inventive, in what we can come up with. But you need to think outside of the box too. This old framework in which how you were raised is what society has said that, oh, you're supposed to do these things, this formula to be successful or to be a good human. All of those things we are outgrowing. We are moving into the age of Aquarius, and we are those rigid structures, those Capricornian structures, we've outgrown them, and we're moving on. So feel empowered to create your best life, to create the life that you came here to live. And also that kind of victim mentality is very close to like the martyr mentality. And I feel that martyr energy, the guilt that we not only carry ourselves, but that we carry for the entirety of our family or society or whatever, that also is an energy that we are saying, yeah, learn that lesson generations back, but I was still doing it because it's what I was given. But no, I'm going to step into a different experience. So, yes, I feel like that is the message of the Knight of Pentacles, is basically being brave to go towards what you really want. Okay. And also, swords is, it's action. It's fire. It's saying, that these things are connected, because when you are truly living in a more aligned manner, mind, body, spirit, then you, number one, have more energy and more positivity to even like exponentially bring in more. And it's like you feel young again, you feel like you have a new lease on life, whatever it is, and you have more energy to take on um, things that might seem like a challenge, but it's you're reaching towards or working towards what you really want. And also because your energy is shifting and changing, you are attracting other situations, other people, other opportunities that align with that higher vibration as well. So it exponentially gets better the further that we go, if we don't keep ourselves stuck, if we don't poison ourselves either on the physical level or mental, level, right? Then we have that renewed sense of energy or vigor. Four of Swords reversed. I feel like this is telling us that this is speaking to the martyr energy. This is speaking to the that's done, that is dead and gone, and that foundation, that structure, 4 is the number of foundation as well, that does not serve who you are, that does not serve who we are as a, not just a planet, but as like a consciousness, universally speaking. I mean, there were lessons in that for centuries, but that's not where we are now. in the big broad grand scheme of time, we're kind of in like almost like the gap in between, but there's an ebbing and a flowing of the energy. There's not just a hard line, a hard stop. So we're really moving into that new energy. And so we just that's where we're going. So the more things from the old patterns that you continue to recycle and you continue to do, it's going to feel worse and worse. It's felt normal for a long time, but it's going to start feeling really like it's really holding you down because part of you is like, no, there's more. There's better. There's more. You know, there's a more enhanced, ascended energy that it's unavoidable. I'm being pulled into it, but then we're still doing these, going through the motions and the old patterns, and it will eventually either drive you crazy, you'll be incredibly depressed, you'll be frustrated, really angry, or like really, really sick. It's kind of like what happens when you keep doing the same thing that isn't working anymore, right? So let's look at the next cards. Feel like this is a little bit of like a authoritative and universal kind of like, okay, let's get on track here energy tonight. Queen of Wands. Okay. Wands, as you can see, wands always has a few little green starts on there. Wands, has to do with, with growth and inspiration. I love the little black kitty on the bottom there, the sunflowers. You see the lions on the banner behind her. She is Queen of Wands, is very much, that energy of, um, trusting your mental faculties. It's knowing that you are deserving as to where you are, this place on the throne, kind of looking over your life, your dominion. And this is not, as me say, with me saying those things, I'm not like being sarcastic and saying, oh, well, if you're miserable and you're stuck and you don't have what you want, like, well, don't be a victim anymore. So what I'm saying is that this is this is part of the energy that we're really that we're moving towards as well. I mean, we're still anchored, we're still present in this reality. We're humans. We chose to have this human experience, but we are kind of gracefully kind of looking over our realm, our domain, saying, wow, I did this, and feeling that sense of accomplishment. And I feel that that's kind of what we're being called to be deserving of, to realize. Ace of Pentacles. Pentacles, is earthly abundance, health, wealth. And this is, look at, it's being gifted to you. It's being handed to all of us, this huge glowing gold disc pentacle. And there is so much potential in that. And, every day is a new opportunity. It's a fresh opportunity. But I feel like the message for, whether it is leap day, whether it is just kind of this time with this, Mercury and Saturn Cazimi, all of this energy, just like right now, is that you have, you're being given the opportunity to like really make a major impact. So if you kind of, disclaimer, I'm not giving you advice. Malia's not giving you advice. I mean, like, not telling you to do anything outside of what's best for you. Okay. Take it or leave it. But if you have been sitting on an idea for a while, or you've kind of been like waiting, like when is the right time to start this? Or you've kind of been feeling pulled or drawn towards something and you're just like, I don't know when the timing is going to be right or whatever. It's like, well, timing is now. Timing is now. There's no time like the present to start this new project, to, get back on track with like what you're eating or how you're taking care of your body, or addressing like certain health issues that have come up or anything like that. But I feel like this is a very kind of like a fortuitous new chapter, new beginning for you. So if there's anything that you're feeling, really drawn to, or this just keeps showing up on your radar and you're like, whoa, yeah, pay attention to it and maybe actually like trust that this is, you're getting ready to start something that is going to be a very, very good foundation for you, for your physical health, for your financial health. and for just like, just having a very abundant life. Okay. And abundance is just a lot of stuff. So it could be abundance of love, abundance of friends, abundance of supportive people, abundance of joy, all of those things. Right. And then Five of Wands. Five of Wands, all of these people are fighting-ish, right? But they could be sparring as well, right? It's not Five of Swords. It's Five of Wands. So are we play fighting? Are we training? Are we actually getting ready to beat the crap out of each other with these big sticks? Or um, is this reminds me of last week's don't make assumptions. That's what's coming to mind with this. I feel like this is kind of like there's a lot of chatter, friction, um, stuff kind of in your periphery that is affecting you. And it could be like stuff on the news. It could be like disagreements or gossipy kind of stuff, with people that you know. It could be inner conflict as well. But I feel like this is saying it's not as bad as it seems, or you're giving it more attention than it deserves, if that makes sense, right? Because when you stop giving it your energy, then it kind of just dissipates, and everybody kind of gets bored, and they're like, okay, well, we weren't really fighting anyway, we're just gonna go over here and do something else. So pay attention to anything that is like really stressing you out, or you're really obsessing over, or you're like, oh my god, every time I see this, like I get upset. Like, okay, so is it unavoidable? Like, can you not escape this in your reality, or is it something again that you're choosing to subject yourself to? And if it's not good and you don't have to do it, or you don't have to see it or know it or be involved in it, then just kind of say like, I'm just going to let that work itself out. I'm going to go over here because this is just a waste of my time and energy. That's what I feel about that. So you know that you have an opportunity to really have something that you're proud of, a life that you're proud of, a life that you are so grateful and blessed and like abundant, and you have even a cute little black kitty at your feet. And you're being given an opportunity for this. It's a brand new venture. It's a brand new adventure. It's a brand new start, or the huge seed that you are planting, right? That is going to be fortuitous. And don't let this old chatter, like get in the way. Because again, that goes all the way back to the feeling that I got about uh, Knight of Pentacles and the Page of Swords, was that there are certain situations in which you are a victim, or you could be martyred, but most of our life is not that way. So don't put yourself in that role. Um, don't you yourself put yourself in that role. Okay. All right. So okay. I'm like looking at this stuff backwards and how I pulled it out. 10 of feathers, which is 10 of air, which would be like wands. Snakes. There's something about a snake that I dreamt about last night too, I think. This is reversed when I pulled it. This is what the card looks like upright. Okay. This is 10 is a number of completion. It was reversed, but I feel like what that's telling us is that this time of like transformation and of um kind of recovering from kind of like the energy that you're coming out of, that's actually done, but you haven't realized it yet. So, whether it's like you're looking over the last couple of years and it's just been like so tumultuous, or you kind of have just recently within the last, 6 months or few months or something, or even very recently kind of like gotten through something that you're like, whoa, that was really challenging, or I'm so glad, that I'm not in that dynamic yet we continue to still go through the motions. We have our cortisol levels like jacked up, our root chakra is like, wah, wah, alert, we're in survival mode. We've got all this anxiety and stuff, because we are still in many levels of us thinking or believing or going through the motions of, I am still on high alert. I'm still in crisis panic mode. And so for those of you that are either winding down, through that kind of period, or if you are on the other side of it, you have to allow yourself to relax. You have to allow yourself to fully realize and accept that, oh my gosh, you made it through it. And that was an experience, not invalidating or saying it wasn't important or a big deal or whatever it was. You may have barely scraped, come by the skin of your nose, teeth, whatever they say, right? But you are not in that energy anymore. And so when you can finally like just stop repeating even energetically, like get that root chakra shrunk down to a more like manageable, I am safe, I am grounded energy. Then that's when you kind of like wake up from the fog of that trauma, of that experience, and know that you truly are like, that's like way in the past now. Even if it was yesterday that you got some kind of answer closure, you made a decision, whatever it is in the past. And the past is not real. We cannot go to the past unless you're Marty McFly and Back to the Future, right? So, and you dare not do anything in the past or it completely screws up the future, right? So, anyway, that's in the past. You're in the present, and so you can congratulate yourself. You can relax. You can know that you are safe, that you are well, that you are grounded, and then it's like then the lesson, the challenge is fully complete. Okay. It's just accepting that. Um, Five of crystals, there should be five of pentacles, was reversed as well. This has to do with persistence, new possibilities. This is little ladybug here. It was reversed when I pulled it. This is what the card looks like upright. I feel like this card is speaking to when you are still in the world is on fire energy, like bad fire, right? Not like I'm on fire. When you are in that energy, that crisis mode, then the new signs of what is coming, the energies that are coming to you, the signs, the little gentle nudgings and high fives of the universe, that you might be missing those, right? You might say like, I used to see signs all the time, or I used to see like repeating numbers, or like, when things were good, like I'd always see like I don't know, ladybug, right? And you're like, I just don't see those anymore. Like, what's wrong? It's like you have been maybe just in crisis mode, or there's just a lot of chaos also around you. We pick up on all the other energies going on, even if we're like, our bubble's okay, but whoa, looking out through the bubble, there's some craziness going on. And we feel it. We just feel it, even if we don't know exactly what it is. But the signs are there. You just need to be grounded enough in the present moment to see them. And they're there. And there could be new signs too. So just because you're not receiving the same repeating numbers, or hearing the same song, or seeing the same, animals or insects or whatever it is, that, well, maybe you skip timelines, right? Or maybe you are stepping into a different energy that has different signs and symbols that are going to really kind of like bolster you along. So change isn't all bad. It's hard sometimes, but yeah, it's good. And then what we do have leading up to that is Two of Cups, Two of Shells. And, a lot of times when people see the Two of Cups, like in traditional tarot, it's very much like, these are little love. Look at these little doves. They're in love, right? It's like a relationship energy, as well. But really, as you can see, maybe you can't see, this card represents union and harmony. And yes, like we love to see that manifest in our physical world. We love to find our divine counterpart. We love to have the yin to our yang, right? For so many people, I mean, we're human. I mean, we all want that, right? In one way or another. But we also have to have that divine union and that harmony within ourselves too. Um, and any relationship outside of the relationship that we have ourself, with ourself, um, it's like icing on the cake, right? It's like icing on the cake to see that manifest in your physical reality with another person. And it could be like a romantic, it could be like just a best friend. It could be like your dog that you just love so much and he completes you, like it doesn't have to be romantic. But that partnership and that union is about impossible to experience, to where you're really getting the most out of it if you are divided within yourself, if you are not harmonious and have the union of the divine feminine and the divine masculine within yourself, that you don't accept all parts of you, you don't acknowledge all parts of you. It is going to be impossible to find a partnership, or relationship, and it could even be a partnership in business. Okay, there's lots of different kinds of coupling. um, you're not going to find something that is like an absolute union, harmony, everything's balanced if you don't have that within yourself. Because even if it was right there in front of you, you would not know it was there. You just it would be like that thing you just sat on the counter and then you turned around and it was gone, right? When we look at the Two of Cups and we look at that, love cups, of course, is like our emotional self as well, our emotions, our emotional life. That if you want love, if you want to manifest love, do work on yourself, love yourself, right? But do things that put you in the same vibe and the same energy of experiencing love. Like when, what do you want to feel in a relationship with a person outside of you? Will do things that are in the same energy or frequency, for yourself. And then that changes your energy. And then you attract situations, people, opportunities that align with that. Okay. Um, so, um, like I said, that's what we're all looking for is balance. We're looking for that homeostasis. We're looking for that harmony. That's what we're really, really looking for, as humans. The planet does it, nature, right? We are part of that. And it's always, if something swings one way and it's just like, whoa, that was intense, or that was a full immersion into that energy, but it always swings back the other way. And eventually, we're trying to find that kind of like balance of like a little bit over here, a little bit over there, or that middle ground, as well. All right. Let me, good, Julie. I'm glad that you were here to hear this. I always feel these are always inspired. These are always good. All right. So, anything else that we need to know? I'm just going to pull, I always want to pull like 500 cards, but I've already been doing this for like an hour and a half. This one went long. Been kind of keeping them shorter, earlier. All right. We have 3 of Wands. I'll just pick one from each deck. Okay. I was like, oh my God, where did my other ones go? The Chariot. We're moving towards something. One more. Nice. Queen of Acorns, Queen of Fire. Swords. Do we have Queen of Swords too? No, we had Wands. We had King of Swords. Okay. Anyway. No repeating cards, but I feel like these are all supporting each other. So, first one I pulled, this is 3 of Wands. Okay. You are maybe not feeling like you are fully walking into this new chapter, into this new timeline, but you're like in your own gateway, right? And I like this, like looking at it, he is standing in between. There's a wand on either side, but then he is holding a wand like a walking stick too, right? So I feel like the message, like the universal message, is that you do have to walk through that gateway, that you do, or you can stand there and look at the beauty of the view forever, right? But looks like he has actually even stepped through, and now he has to move forward on into the horizon, right? And that you are supported. That other wand that he is holding, he is supported. He has help. You always have help from, whether it's your higher self or the universe, or like from friends, or loved ones, maybe. But or the kind of almost like the universe working through those other people around us, kind of just saying the right thing, or just embodying the right energy for that moment, that we are supported. I do not think that anyone would have chosen to come into a life as a human and be completely unsupported, completely cut off, completely clueless, directionless, all of that. We very much maybe have found ourselves in situations where we have felt those things. But we always have support. Your higher self, which is the higher bird's eye view version of yourself that isn't tethered by emotions or karma or physical aches or pains or fear or anything like that. Your higher self. When we tune into our higher selves, we meditate, we ask for guidance or whatever. Your higher self is never like, uh look what I set you up for. Doesn't life suck? Like, no, that's not why we came here. Even if things are really, really hard, if things are really challenging, the challenging things, the difficult things, the things that make our hearts ache and or make us really angry, that gives us the perspective of kind of like what we don't want. That is that equal opposite of then what do we want? Harmony. We want joy. We want expansion. We want peace, right? So the quote unquote negative things that we experience give us perspective for the full picture of what we came here to know and like fully understand. So you are supported. Okay. The Chariot card, this is also very balanced. When you look at this card, there is a 3. 3 is an odd number, but there are 2 ones that are on either side of him, and then he has himself. He has his one. So there to me that feels balanced as well, even though it's an odd number. And then we have the Chariot card. You see the sphinxes that are black and white. Very balanced energy about this card. This card is ruled by Cancer, or yeah, associates with Cancer energies. But the Chariot card, he has all of these beautiful stars on the little thing at the top of the chariot. Okay, he has a star on his crown as well. And this is very much this is a card of success, but it's saying that you have to do it. You have to work towards it. You have to move towards it. And you have to have enough inertia to where the chariot doesn't like is stuck on something or it doesn't topple over. You have to have enough forward motion to be able to get to where you're going in an efficient manner. But you are a star. You are reaching towards your goals, your wish fulfilled. You are working towards that. You just have to make sure you're going, right? This is not a stationary card, and this is a card of balance. And it is also these 2 sphinxes here, okay, that are pulling the chariot. Like horses would pull a chariot. They have to work in tandem. They have to work together, and it's a balanced energy. But I do feel like you are supported. He is not pulling the cart, right? He is driving it. He is driving it. And there is this beautiful balance of trust and trusting that the sphinxes or the horses drawing the chariot, that they are trained to do their job, but it's his job to like maybe take care of them, to teach them what how he wants them to move the cart forward, to listen to his commands. But then he trusts them to do the job that he has trained them to do as well, right? He is not pulling the chariot himself. He is set the course, and then everybody's kind of working together doing their own work. So again, I feel like you are supported. I feel like sometimes you have to trust that you have, if you've clearly stated what you want or where you're going or what you need, expect someone to do, or anything like that, like sometimes you have to like get out of the way then and just let them do that or let them fail, right? But you have to be clear and like empowering others to help you, right? Because if you're like, well, I'm always doing everything myself because nobody can do anything right. Well, then don't even bother asking someone to do anything. That's a waste of time. Or ask someone to do something and be really clear, try to be clear and be on the same page, and then just like let them do it. And then really let them do it. Right. And then you get somewhere. Y'all work together. You all did the you all contributed, right? But you're the winner when you get to the end of the race. Queen of Acorns, Queen of Fire. Um, these cards are so lovely. She is leaping, um, running kind of like through a field, and there's a sun behind her. And this is your passion. This is your creativity. This is definitely a very like, um, hold on. No, Queen of Wands. Okay. Hold on. Let me pull this so you can see this for comparison. This is like Queen of Fire. This is like Queen of Air. Okay. But we got both of these cards. And this Queen of Fire has to do with, I mean, it can be like creating babies. It can be your sacral chakra. It can be your sensual, goddessy, juicy, or just like sexual, sensual self. Okay. But when we talk about sacral chakra, even though that's very much an energy in the sacral chakra, it is a creative wellspring, and it's not just for the divine feminine energy either. But of course, this card is Queen of Acorns, Queen of Fire. So when we um, align with what we are passionate about, what we came here to do. We let ourselves create our own reality, our own experience. We're immersed in that. We're reveling in that passionate, creative energy. And this can be like art. This can be just a cause that you're passionate about. It could be your family. It could be living a more sustainable lifestyle. It could be so many things, right? Um, but you have to like almost like give into that passion. You have to like meld with that passionate energy and let it carry you along, and you're stoking the fire, right? And that's what we really came here to do, was to live a juicy life, was to have create to see what we can create, what kind of experiences we can create, what kind of beautiful things, the things that inspire us the most, music and art and all of those things. Even if you're not an artist or you're not a musician, like just imagine like when you hear a song or you see something, or even it's like nature's art, like a sunset or something, and you're just like enraptured with the beauty or how it makes you feel. That's experiencing life, and that's what we came here to do. And so whether you need to give yourself permission to, be immersed in those energies, to create your own reality, to kind of see what you can dream up and then birth, into being, whatever it is, like, uh, yeah, sometimes we're exhausted and we're tired and we're drained and we don't really feel like we have much in us to be able to really do much. But do take a really good nap, like adjust your schedule to where you're really resting so that you're waking life, so that, as you're doing and as you're being present, that you are really immersed in the experience, because that's what we came here to do, was to experience so many different things. And it's kind of like your choice too. What did you come here to experience? And if you don't know, that's okay. But right now, with this Mercury and Saturn Cazimi, the sun, um, it would be a perfect time to identify what you like to experience, what you came here to do, and just focus on those things, the feelings that you want to feel. And you can then, if you want to be pros, cons, you can do that, or just anything that kind of bumps up against that list of maybe 3 or 4 things that you really want to embody, with that you would really want to feel. Somebody calls you and says, "Hey, I want to talk about this." Or you're scrolling social media or whatever, and then you're like, "Wow, does this align with that? Does this stuff make me feel like what I want to feel? What I came here to experience?" And if the answer is no, then why are you doing those things? Right? Yeah. So it's your choice. You are 99% of the time not a victim. I mean, you yourself never make yourself a victim. And yeah, I think I made sense of that. Someone else, their actions imposed on you, powerless, would make you a victim. Anything else in your life that you feel cheated, stuck, unhappy, undeserving, any of that, you are empowered to change that. All right. So, well, it's been fun. It's been an hour and 40 minutes. So, time warp. So, I hope you all have a good rest of your evening. And thank God I recorded this live, because if I had recorded this like I used to do it and then tried to upload it, it would have taken me like 500 hours. It's so dumb. So, anyway, I hope you all have a great evening. Happy leap day tomorrow. Happy just full moon a couple days ago. And we're moving into eclipse season next month. So we'll talk about that too. So hope you all have a good evening, and I will see you next Wednesday at 7 o'clock if I don't see you sooner. Thank you. Bye-bye.